What's wrong, Kadiba?
I'm upset
About
this little sour bitch in the back of my head. She always on show when I'm trying to do my big one.
sour patch in the back of your wig. Girl, what are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about, because you definitely got one. She won't even allow you to upload a YouTube video. I'm talking about the voice that's always in the back of your head, the one that's discouraging you. I just be wanting to yank her out.
The Inner Saboteur?
Yeah, that hoe. She on me some rounds.
Well, let's talk about it. Hello. What's up, my husbands and girls of the world? Kenny here, back for another video. I really wanted to start diving even deeper on certain subjects and things like that, especially pertaining to spirituality and just problems that I personally run across. With that being said, I wanted to bring someone that has helped me along my spiritual journey without even I don't even know if she fully has realized this at times, but there's been times where I just, will be on Instagram, click over on a reading, and this woman, she pops up, beautiful, looking refreshed, giving a very refreshed feeling, and she would always have the right things to say. Always, whatever it was something that was relevant to something I was going through. And with having these conversations more frequently here on my channel now, I wanted to bring these people that have, helped me along my spiritual journey to share them with you all, because I'm not no selfish girl. Y'all know me. If there's somebody that I feel can help somebody that is watching me, I want to collaborate with them. With that being said, I'll let her introduce herself. This is Teresa. Okay, I'll let you introduce yourself, and whatever you want to tell the girls, just tell them about yourself before we get into the topic of today.
Yes. Oh my God. First of all, thank you so much for having me. This is so beautiful. What is up, everyone? I am Teresa Reese. I am a storyteller, intuitive reader, actor. I am many things, all things. And I am just so excited to be here. I'm a Brooklyn girl that just recently took her ass to Cali with her big ass dog.
Okay.
I'm so excited to talk. These are the kinds of conversations I love to have, because when I give readings, and I thank you for sharing that about, I'm so glad that, it's part of why I do what I do. I get so much out of it. For myself, I learned, sometimes I rewatch my readings and I'm like, oh damn, that was good. because when you're channeling, I don't remember everything I say. It's not really me. It's coming from something else. And so I just love to hear that it's helping even a little bit. If it just helps one person, just even a little tiny bit, then I'm doing what I'm here to do. So
I'll be sure to link all of her information everywhere. It'll pop up over the screen, of course, a screen overlay, but it'll also be down below in the comment section and the about me section. Follow her on Instagram. I'm telling y'all, she goes live every now and then, and just catch it, or just go watch something that she already has.
I save it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all there. I got over 100 readings.
Yes. What I wanted to specifically talk about today was kind of the inner saboteur. I'm personally in a space where I have evolved at a very rapid rate. And with evolving at a rapid rate, nobody tells you about the things that comes with evolving as a human. It's we focus on everything but the inner growth in life. And there's a lot of things that comes along, with the growth process. And one thing that has popped up for me, and I know it pops up for other people constantly, is that inner saboteur, the doubt, fear, anything along those lines. It just enters your mind, and it's it takes over. It spreads to the point where you can cripple yourself. My question is, what would you tell somebody that's dealing with the inner saboteur? What would you girl, snap out of it? What outside of girls, the cliche, girl, snap out of it? You know.
It's not just easy to just snap out of, because you name them, right? So it's fear, it's doubt, and anxiety. I think they're cousins. I think of them you're they're in your ear, right? And they do get louder as you approach a new stage, a new level. they start getting louder because you're stepping way out of the comfort zone. And really, when you look at fear and self-doubt and anxiety, they're really just trying to keep you safe. That's really what they're trying to do. So when you can just understand that you're experiencing those things and you are not those things, like you don't have to internalize what they're saying. You can just kind of like observe them and understand like, oh, you just want to keep me safe. That's really what it is. Thank you. And then it's just gratitude. Thank you so much. And then you go sit in the back. Like you go sit, I'm in charge.
The back of the bus, mamas.
Yeah, the back of the bus, baby. And you can talk amongst yourselves. You can have your little key in the back, but like I'm in charge here. And so a lot of times when I feel anxiety, doubt, fear, it feels like this. This is like, it feels like this. And so that means I'm in my head. Right. So my first thing I tell somebody is you need to get into your body. Right. So take those slow, deep breaths. I like to put my hand on my chest, hand on my belly. And I breathe and I make sure I'm at least exhaling through my mouth, because when we breathe with our mouth, we're in our body. When we're breathing just in our nose, we're still up here. You just need to get here. And then once you get into your body, it's like, okay, a lot of times it's your inner child that's freaking out.
It reminds me of, I've probably heard it somewhere and I read like tons of books all the time, but it reminds me of like work from the heart space, meaning like work from the heart, like come to the heart space and work from here instead of being in the mind, especially because the mind can be easily influenced. Okay.
And it's going to play tricks on you. It's going to, you know, tell you things that aren't true, because think about what we are conditioned. A lot of the stories that a lot of the doubt and the fear is not even stuff we are coming up with. It's stuff we've been told about ourselves, about, you know, other people projecting their fear, and we've internalized it. And so that plays over and over. And then we have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind, which is what you don't know, is responsible for over 90% of what you do. Isn't that crazy? So you don't even know the story you're telling yourself. Right? That's when you have to really start doing that shadow work, that really deep work to figure out what programming am I running on? And that isn't even mine. You know, I didn't come up with I'm not good enough. I learned that by someone treating me a certain way or showing me something or doing something, whatever. And so that's why I love that you said that. It's about getting into your heart space. You're here, this is your center. And it's like, okay, I'm grounded, I'm centered. Now I just need to make the next right step. What's the next in this moment? What's the thing? Because that's the other thing. Fear, anxiety, doubt are overwhelming feelings because you're thinking of everything you have to do. If I'm thinking of everything I have to do, it does not feel possible.
You go get crippled. You go cripple yourself. You literally will be like, okay, I'm not doing
nothing. Right. You know, so what's the next right thing? What is the thing that I can do in this moment right now? And then just do that and start. It's about really starting where you are. But I think it's also important to say that, because a lot of people, I think, feel, oh, if I'm doubting myself, then I'm not doing enough work, or I didn't do this shit. We're human. We're going to have doubt. We're going to experience fear. We're going to experience anxiety. That doesn't mean you're not doing the work or that you can't do it. It's just part of the experience. And so don't let that make you feel like, oh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. It's like, bitch, please. Like, every time you get to a new level, you're going to experience it again. But that's why it's like, it really is like you said, keep showing up.
Keep showing up. Keep showing up. No matter what. There's been times where I didn't know of like the outcome of something or whatever, you know. It was a time before I was ever afraid, before I entered this caterpillar phase or whatever, before I really, you know, woke up, I guess. And I just did things. And in those moments, Spirit was using me without even me fully realizing it. But when I start overthinking everything, that's when it became just a disaster.
You have to understand, you can't wait for confidence. You can't wait to be fearless. You have to feel those things and do that shit anyway, because the confidence comes in the showing up. Like if you go to my page and you look at the first reading I ever did, that I posted, right? It was September 2nd, 2020. It was the Pisces full moon. I remember it was like a 10
yeah, you gotta have the exact date. Yes,
because I've been looking because I like to look at my growth. I like to see where I've come from because it matters to me. That's why I love to journal. I like to see what's going on, and I'm like,
you gotta give yourself your props. You gotta give yourself your props.
You have to celebrate along the way, and you have to pay attention to the journey, right? And so it was a good reading, but like I was definitely nervous. It was, you know, all these things, but some spirit told me I need to do this. And then spirit was like, do another one, keep showing up. And it was like, I was doing them daily. I was doing every Monday through Friday, I was showing up and posting and reading, getting up extra early before work and doing the work and just keep showing up. And it was in the doing that the confidence comes. I wasn't confident before I did it. I was nervous as fuck. When I did my first live, I was like, I don't know if anybody's gonna come in the room. I don't know if anybody cares about what I have to say. Like, I don't know. But here I am. I had like 5 people. I was like, this is lit. Like, okay, they're here. Like,
show up.
But you have to show up, and showing up is showing up for yourself. Not even about. Please don't show up for other people. Like, yes, we do show up for other people, but you have to show up for yourself every day.
Something you said, a thought entered my mind immediately. I've been having just conversations with myself about the importance of really letting creators grow. And when I say letting creators grow, we'll use a celebrity for example. Some celebrities are just genuinely like creative or whatever, but they get put in these systems of like the industry things or whatever. And that takes away, because I'm a person, I don't know about you, but I believe that a lot of the times, like fear be speaking through some people, for real. But when you don't allow growth to happen and just like what comes with being a human to happen and you're always eating it up, like this even goes to like cancel culture or whatever, and how it kind of is toxic. Genuinely, so you mess up, I feel like, the world's evolution.
So cancel culture doesn't allow people to mess up. And the way we learn is by making mistakes, right? So if I'm afraid that you're going to cancel me, I might not speak up. I might not say anything. And it really does. It does stifle creativity because it doesn't give me the space to be free. It doesn't give people the space to be free. And it robs us from a teachable moment. It robs us from like you could look at somebody and be like, that was dead wrong, for sure. But then how can we learn and grow? Like what is it? What are we really doing if we're just saying, oh, that's it, we're done with you, as opposed to, well, how did you get like this? Why are you doing like this? Okay, are you exposed? Do you talk to enough people? Like, you know, people who are, very homophobic or whatever. And it's like, okay, have you spoken? Do you have gay friends? Have you spoken to anybody in the community? Are you exposed to this? The same thing with like racist people. Like, do you know Black people? Have you been exposed to, like, are you learning anything? And I think that it's sad when we don't give people the opportunity to be messy. Not like messy, like
it's like you're not giving yourself the opportunity to be messy.
It's so important. It's so important because that's the thing. It's like, okay, so I love Beyonce, y'all. Anybody who knows me knows I love Beyonce, right? And I be watching Homecoming as therapy, right? And you know, one of the things that she's talking about, like the rehearsal process, and she says nobody wants to rehearse because everybody wants to be perfect all the time. And they're showing her like trying to get the choreography and like really struggling and all that stuff. And that's the real. It's like you have to allow yourself to that's as a creative person, you have to allow yourself to fuck it up. It has to be messy. You have to be able to look stupid. Like you look like you trying to learn a new choreography. I was actually thinking about this today because I was watching, like, we were talking about the jerk, everybody like that teacher that did the jerk or whatever. And I'm like, in order to get to learn how to do that, I would have to stand around and I would have to be in my room and look like an asshole, look ridiculous. Right? But like, am I gonna, but what stops me from doing that? Oh, I don't want to look stupid.
Yeah.
Right? So, but you have to look stupid. It's okay to, like, I think we have to take the stigma out of looking stupid. Like, that's part of the creative process. Like, and I love, and I think social media has connected us, right? But we are constantly like, I have to look a certain way. I can only present certain things. It has to be branded and perfect and da-da-da-da. Bitch, my nails are messed up, okay? Because I'm moving, okay? Like, whatever. Like, just show up. It doesn't take away from, like, is my message less important because when you look at my hands, I look like this?
No, this is the message of the year. Okay. like literally, it is. It's especially for such a specific time to be alive. Like what we're experiencing.
Yes,
what we're experiencing. I like to think that a lot of the problems in the world have been caused due to somebody thinking they was right along the way, and somebody somebody think they was right because they seen the world from their vision, from their point of view, that they couldn't acknowledge anything outside of their point of view, and that created just like ruckus, like people allow the ego to get in the way. No, I'm right. This is the way to live, and blah. Like, what are y'all? Y'all are not God. Okay,
you have to be open, like open to the experience. That's something I say a lot, and I used to say that when I used to teach, and when you were talking about like people being stifled by systems, that's how I felt as a classroom teacher. Like I loved working with kids, and I used to tell Imani, if y'all don't know the Hood Healer, I don't know what you're doing.
Okay, what you doing? I'm gonna try to get Imani on here next, y'all.
Okay, she's amazing. But I had a reading with her years ago when we first connected, and I was wanting to quit teaching, and she kept saying like, you are a teacher. It's just not gonna look. It's gonna look different. And so after I'm getting ready to quit my job. I've been in this work, and she looked at me. She's like, "So you still a teacher, huh?" I was like, I am. And that's the thing, is that I am a teacher. There are things that I do that are teaching people. There are things that I bring from my experience as a teacher. Like people say, like, you really break it down. Like you really explain in things. And it's like, yeah, because that is who I am. But that room, being in a classroom and working in the system of a school was not for me. It stifled my creativity. It didn't allow me to be open. But what I used to always tell my students is be open to the experience. Just be open to it. Don't be so closed off because, I don't think I'm gonna like this. And so that's what happens. People have closed themselves off to other people's experiences. This is the only way to live. This is the only way to be. And it's like, that doesn't make sense.
I think it's selfish. I think it's selfish of any individual to not realize that their reality is not everybody's reality. It's not.
Me and you can be in the same room and go through. Let's just talk about the pandemic, okay? Like for a second, we all are the world experienced the same thing differently. Everybody had a different reality with all of this, right? Because my perception and my lived experience and then my whatever allows me to see it differently than you or somebody, in wherever. Like you can grow up in the same house and have the same parents and be twins and have two totally different experiences. You're creating your own reality. Like when you understand that, like you really making it up. Like so why? So how can I expect that what I've made up for myself is what you've made up for yourself?
I remember something I told the Dolls this. I call my peoples, I'm calling them the KenDolls, the Dolls.
The KenDolls.
Okay. I told them that one of the most beautiful things to do is grow. But it's the most difficult thing to do in front of an audience, in front of people. And I related it back to how, like, for the past few years, like, I just got inconsistent with YouTube because I felt stifled creative wise. I felt like this isn't like this is a cute, but YouTube is still sort of a system, meaning that if
there's an algorithm.
If you're not doing, it's an algorithm, exactly. If you're not doing what these people, like, or what they found you for or whatever, then you just don't matter whatsoever anymore. And I had to take a step back to realize it's not me, because I used to beat myself up. I used to say, like, oh my goodness, like, why can't you just get it together and just like be like the other girls and just, post the videos? I said, it's not me. It's just, it's a system. It's an algorithm.
Yeah.
Like,
it is. And that's the thing. It's like, that's part of the creative process, is being able to take the step back and take the space. So one thing that has been coming up a lot with clients that I read for it and messages and my own meditation is time for integration.
By the way, go on. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull a card of 3 or however.
Don't worry, I got my cards right next to me.
Okay, we're gonna have a pool. Just, a general.
I'll give a little
energy something after we get done, talking about the things. I got y'all. I keep looking at this camera, not realizing that this is the camera.
Baby, wherever you looking is where you need to be, baby. Okay, wherever you need to be. Okay, but it's about integration, and integration is the time where you stop and allow what you are learning to kind of just get into your body. And because if you're constantly doing and doing and doing and doing, you don't have time to even process what you're doing. And so as a creative, it's like, I need something to inspire me. And I was really good at every single day, like getting up early before going to teach kids in school and doing these readings or whatever. And I've been in transition since July, like moving and coming out here. And so there was less consistency, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, is it me? Am I fucking up? And then I was like, no, I have to do it when I have a message. Like when just listen to me. Spirit is loud, and spirit will be like, you need to do it. And I'm like, I don't want to do it today. And they're like, show up. And I'm like, all right. And I show up, and then the message it hits. And I'm like, that's why you needed me to do it today. And so it's like, we can't let the algorithms fuck with us because Instagram is notoriously terrible. That algorithm makes no fucking sense. How did my views get like this? Like why, that's what, like, you can't internalize this theory, this thing coming from outside of you, telling you about yourself. You know what you are.
Instagram's algorithm, for any creatives, especially watching this, let me say, y'all, do not base your work off of anything that has to do with the algorithm.
It's trash. It's not about your content. It's not about how the quality of what you're providing. It's just about what these people are deeming important. You cannot base your self on what other people are saying about what you're doing. Like, they don't matter. It's about, so I think as a creative, the best thing to do is just keep showing up, keep being authentic to your process, to you, what you want to create. And then you don't have to be in a box, because that's the other thing, right? Like, my therapist actually helped me with this. I used to be like, well, I don't want to be a teacher. I'm just an actor. And she's like, why do you have to just be one thing? Why can't you, why are you keep labeling yourself, baby, for everything. And that's really what it is. Like, I'm going to show up as fully as myself. And in order for me to do that, I am a teacher. I'm a storyteller. I'm an intuitive reader. I'm an actor. I'm I'm a sister. Okay. I'm a mother, even though I have no biological kids, like all of these things. And I'm going to show up in this space as who I am. And so we have to buck the system and say, fuck y'all, I'm going to show up and I'm going to reach the people that I need to reach. But you have you have to fight. You have to fight for yourself. You have to fight for your authenticity right now.
So, because there's a war for authenticity right now, and the war is serious, y'all. Everybody, y'all see the robot.
And that is spiritual warfare, straight up. They don't want us to be connected to ourselves. They don't want us to know ourselves, because that's where our power is.
It's knowing ourselves. I would, a lot of times, deny like a huge part of me. Because I would work from the ego, and because, I was born a male, blase, but I've always been like hyper feminine. So when it came to, even though I enjoy girly things and always will, just because that's just, who these labels.
I get it. It's amazing over here.
Like, it's amazing. It really is amazing. Like, fuck these labels. However, I had to check my own ego, because my ego was protecting me from those people trying to project, like, transition, blase. Not that there's anything wrong with transitioning, but them, blah, 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 not letting me evolve as a human, that made my ego say, well, maybe I had a different opinion about trans women before I knew the divinity in them, actually. I had a different opinion, but it came from others. And it was my ego. You have to check your own ego sometimes. You just do.
You better be like that. You must. You must. And that doesn't, it's not about getting rid of your ego. It's about understanding your ego.
Yes.
And working with your ego and not letting your ego run the show.
Yes.
There's no such thing as like the ego is healthy. There's a healthy ego that you can have, and it's necessary. It's part of you. That's the thing. We have to stop trying to get rid of the parts of ourselves that we don't like.
You can't get rid of that, the baby. You can't.
I had a friend that great analogy said, everybody has to be able to play in the sandbox. All the parts of you need to play together. So that's like our shadow self, right? The parts of you that either that other people told you were bad or that you don't like about yourself, you have to love them in order to love yourself, but you also have to hold yourself accountable. You know, and that's the thing. And I think to your point about transition and am I this, am I that? So as human beings, we are constantly trying to contextualize our experience, right? And so we live in a society that worked in binaries. You're either this or that. And so what happens is other people, and I've definitely felt this way, I've been this way, where I want to understand. So I'm like, are you this? Are you that? Like, I want to know. And really it's just let them be who they are and let them tell me. You tell me who you are.
Because it's not your experience.
It's not my experience. Just like, let me tell you who I am. You know, I'm mixed. And so it's people trying to put me in a, well, you're not Black enough. You're not white enough. You know, you're not this, you're not that. And like Black people generally, Black people see who I am. White people are like confused. And, you know, it's all of these different things. And it's just like, I'm all of the things that make me who I am. I don't need to say I'm one thing or another to make somebody else feel comfortable. And it's just allowing people to have like even my journey just to how I identified racially was a journey.
I bet. Yeah.
And like, we don't talk, like, listen, we don't talk about the mixed experience enough. It's fucking weird. Okay.
It's a weird ass experience. One of my best friends from college.
It's
just hearing how she would talk about it. It's like, damn. And they don't, and it's like, you can't say, like, you can say something, but when you say something about it, it's like, well, you're privileged and da 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 da. No,
and that's the thing. That's why people don't want to talk about it. It's like, oh, because you have all this light skin privilege, and I understand that I have a completely different experience in the way that I'm perceived in the world than my cousins who are dark skinned and, you know, all of this, like, I get that. I understand, but that's the thing. That could be true and I could still be.
And it's still, but even then, there was once upon a time, like just a small group of individuals that would, you know, say things like, you just get your things because you have like pretty privilege and blase, 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 blase. I'm like, no, I mean, I guess you could use that excuse if you want to, but the reason y'all don't connect with, you got to connect with people. You got to touch people's hearts or whatever. You got to do the things that's going to make people remember you outside of your looks, baby, because it's not
enough. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. It's not enough. Listen, if you pretty and you open your mouth and nothing coming out, you ain't even pretty anymore.
Exactly. And Beyonce said it, pretty hurts, y'all. It truly do. It do.
But I think that that's so important, is we need to understand that just because somebody has privilege in some way, shape, or form doesn't mean that they don't have a difficult experience.
With privilege comes responsibility.
Hello. Okay. It does. And there are things that you have to endure. And I think that we have to stop trying to, like, it's like the oppression Olympics or like the trauma Olympics. Like, my trauma is worse than your trauma. Baby, your trauma is your trauma. Your experience is your experience. We have to stop telling people about themselves like that.
Because y'all don't know people, truly.
And you don't know what they've been through. You don't know. I mean, I'm very open and transparent about what I've been through and the things that have happened to me and for me and all that stuff. But that doesn't mean I've had a bad life. It doesn't mean I've had an easy life. Like, you don't know. And so we have to stop assuming. There's so much assumptions that we're making about people, looking at people. And it's our own limiting. Listen, everybody is meeting us at their highest point of consciousness, right? Not everybody is on the same journey as you, right? So when you're having a hard time relating to somebody, it's because they're down here, you're up here, or vice versa, right? And like, we have to understand that about people. And it's also, I'm starting to really realize it's not my job. It's not my job nor my responsibility to explain myself to you or justify my existence to you. I'm not in that business no more. I don't need to justify my relationships, my life, what I do. I just need, this is what I'm called to do. I know I'm working in integrity. I'm doing what spirit tell me to do. This is who I am. And I don't need to explain myself to you. And that takes a lot. That takes a lot of work to come. Because I used to I want everyone to understand me. And I'm like, I'm not for everybody. How about that? I don't
exactly. You're not gonna be for everybody, baby.
No.
You're not. And thinking that you're gonna be for everybody, it makes that inner self-saboteur, it make her even louder. Thinking that people live that.
Because the people pleaser, that's the inner saboteur right there. Is like, oh, are people gonna like me? And I'm a recovering people pleaser. Okay, hello.
Me too.
Doing everything, trying to keep everybody like, don't you like me? Whatever. And it takes a lot of work, and it still takes work. Like, I think that's the other thing is like, we think healing and things are linear. It's not.
It's a process.
It's a process. It's a forever. You just doing it forever. Like, you're gonna have moments where you're gonna be like, damn, I'm back to thinking the way that I used to think. Shit, I thought I finished with that. And it's just like, every time you level up, you just need to dig up the next thing.
Adding a quick note.
Yes.
Toxic positivity is a thing.
It's a thing. I love talking about that because
it's a thing. It's a thing.
Good vibes on.
Because it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Like, baby, you basically experience your emotions. Like,
honor your feelings. Honor your feelings. You can't good vibe your way through healing. You just can't, right? You just can't. And I think, it's important to remember that while this is serious work, you can't take yourself so seriously. You have to make space for joy and fun and laughter and love and all of those things, even in the hard parts of your healing journey. But like, it's, oh my God, like, people are just like, just feel better.
It's like, is that withdrawal?
It's okay to be angry. If I'm angry, I'm going to feel my anger. If I am sad, it's okay to feel sad. It's just, but again, what I was talking about, like fear, anxiety, all that, we're experiencing these things. I am not the thing that I'm experiencing. I am what's witnessing the experience. I'm having the experience. So it's okay to be sad. I moved from New York, and I'm so happy. I'm at peace with my choice, but I'm so sad. I miss my people. I miss my family. Like, you saw, right before we got on, my mom FaceTimed me with my nephew. They're all in New York. They're all at a holiday party together, and I can't be there, and I miss them. But I'm happy to be here. Like, and two things can be true. More than two things can be true at the same time. And you have to give your space. You have to honor your feelings. So stop with this, like, oh, this is how you good. Like, I can't, you can't. And you have to be aware of toxic positivity.
You can't just always, it's not going to always be peaches and cream. It's not, you gotta do a lot of things before you get to the peaches and cream.
And you can have peaches and cream while you're crying.
And you, hello, you can
cry in the peaches and cream.
You can't. My most saddest moments reminded me of my power.
Yes. Ooh.
My most saddest moments have reminded me of my power, truly. And even angry moment, any bad moment, I appreciate the bad, especially after the pandemic. I appreciate the bad because the other side, even using the pandemic for example, the other side of it was what Imani was talking about, we got a chance to rest. We got a chance to remember and enjoy rest. We got a chance to be amongst our own energies or whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
It changed my life. It changed my life for the better. And I'm not discounting anybody's experience that lost someone or it was really, we all had different experiences, but there were so many gifts.
Yes.
A lot of grief, but there was a lot of gratitude. And for me, it changed my life.
There's always going to give and take.
Because I got a chance to be with myself and think and go, Teresa, why are you here? Because what it taught me was, we don't know anything. We don't control anything. You want to have a good laugh? This is what I tell everybody. You want to laugh? Go to your journal. January 2020. Read January through March 2020. Just read your journal because you made all these plans. You had all these things you was going to do. You would da-da-da-da-da-da. And you laugh because it really was like none of that happened.
Nothing.
And that's the thing is like, we all think, you know, and I went out last night and the waiter was super dope. And we were having this great conversation. He was talking about a friend of his, he's an actor, and they've been creating films together with his friends. And one of them is like has cancer and has been like doing this like through like chemo treatments and stuff. And like, he doesn't push back dates because he's like, I don't know how much time I have. And I said, neither do we. We don't know how much time we have. Who am I to think that I have tomorrow? So then that was my thought, was like, well, what are you doing with your life? And are you doing what you're meant to do? Like, what are you doing with the gift of time that you have? You know, and I'm so grateful that I was forced to sit with myself by myself.
Same.
I'm grateful. Like I missed my sister's entire pregnancy. She was in Atlanta. Like, you know, I didn't get to be with her. Anybody who knows me knows my sister is my favorite, and like all of these things. But like, you know, but it was also like, she's good. She's healthy. She's having an easy pregnancy. She's able to stay home. Her man is there taking good care of her. Like all of these things. So I have all this gratitude, but I'm sad. I got no pictures with my sister with her big ass belly. Like I have none of those like things but that doesn't even matter. In the grand scheme of what's important. What's important is that she's good. And that my nephew is good. And that we did get to see each other. I got to be there when he, you know, right after he was born, and all of these things. And so it's just like, what are you doing with your life? Like, why are you really here?
Yeah.
You're doing what you're meant to do. And listen, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
It's rushing back to normal. I don't want it like that. I want the time. I want the space. I want the rest. You can listen, I'm resting.
Rest is good. Rest is good.
Resting is part of the work.
Baby, I don't know who taught us that rest wasn't good. Was it good? Because
I gave this reading to this girl last night who's amazing. Now I already told her she's my little sister now. And I was telling her, I was like, listen, I'm like, when you have your period, okay, I was like, I'm actively bleeding. And you want me to show up outside,
no shade,
and do high level things when do you understand what I'm actually doing? And I was like, wow, that's crazy. What a ridiculous expectation. Like I should be able to just rest.
Baby, I need time off. I'm done. Like I can't.
Like it's, you know, but it's just like things like that. Like when we're not allowed to honor ourselves, and that's what our society does. And that's because when you honor yourself, you're in your power.
Come on now. Come on. Honor yourself.
When you are honoring your body, you're in your power. And I know they don't want us in our power.
No. Because if everybody was in their power, things would be a lot different.
Hello.
A lot different.
So listen, anytime they be telling me something, I'm like, I'm gonna do the opposite. Like you. Sorry, I don't believe you.
It's like this natural rebellion. Like
I'm just like that. I love to do the opposite. Oh, you want me to sit down? Well, now I'm standing up forever. I don't care if my feet hurt. I used to be like that. I'm better now. But again, you have to God is still working on me, okay? But you have to honor your body. You have to honor yourself. You have to, and to your point of going through something that's so challenging, like I went through a terrible breakup. And that relationship, which was abusive and toxic, and that breakup and that ending broke me. I was broken. And I'm so grateful because that is how I got here. That allowed me to start to actually go, well, Teresa, what do you want? What do you want to do? What kind of life do you want to have? I never asked myself these questions. I was 32 and I was like, I've never thought about it like that. And it broke me all the way down. And I'm so grateful for that pain. You learn more about yourself in the pain than you do when you're happy. Okay, like you learn, that's where you learn who you are. That's where you learn who you are. So all this stuff that we try to avoid pain, first of all, you can't.
It's a part of this experience.
That's the thing. Why are you here? Why are you here? You telling me that you dropped down into that beautiful body of yours to not experience it all, and to think and to have the audacity that you could avoid pain. Everything ends. Every relationship you have ends somehow, some way.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just not going to have relationships, or you just going to pretend like it's never going to, baby, no. But you just have to show up in the experience, and then you learn that you survive it. You can feel it all and it doesn't kill you. You know, and you have to let it break you down. Like that's, you know, we talked about, you brought up the caterpillar. That's one of my favorite, you know, analogies that I use. And when you finally get your wings, you're like, it's new and it's weird and it's different and it's uncomfortable. Healing is uncomfortable. And when you start to try to operate, like the hardest relationship is the healthy one after the toxic one. That's the hardest. The toxic relationship wasn't hard to be in. It was awful. But the healthy relationship, like, this is uncomfortable. I don't know how to do this. Like, I'm so like, wait, you love me? Wait, you're not gonna leave because you see my mess? Like, wait a minute.
This is so, I need to send this to somebody directly, because this is so accurate for somebody that is a very prominent figure in my life. And I'm like, bro, just go with the flow. It's good. Trust me. I'm telling her, like, the energy is good. It's good. Just go with the flow. But because of the toxicness, she projecting certain things onto this.
Well, that's like, I mean, and then we're gonna fully circle back. That's where the saboteur comes all the way out. All the way out. You listen. What? Just if you observe, you have to start observing yourself. This is why, again, I love journaling. I love like paying attention to you have to start watching what you're doing, and almost like you're watching a movie, and be like, oh, so your feelings got hurt. And now what are you out here doing? Oh, you're going to call somebody. You're going to be out. That's self-sabotage behavior. Like, this is, you know, pay attention to your shit. Pay attention to yourself. Like, learn. But it really is. It's hard. And you have to be like, nope, I'm going to sit with this feeling. I'm going to sit in what this feels like. And then I'm going to verbalize, like, and then I'm going to be able to talk about it. I'm going to be like, hey, when you did that, that kind of hurt me. That's hard to do.
And one thing that I want to tell specifically, like, my audience, because y'all know I'm notorious for getting on camera and telling my story times and, you know, blase, just really telling it. And some of them be painful. Share your stories. And I say share your stories because more than anything, even with me being like inconsistent, because I shared my stories, because I was able to help other people without, I didn't know I was helping people now, I will say that. But just like, I'm pretty sure it's like an energetic law. Like, I filled so many people's cups up that even in my downtime, my cup has never been empty. Simply because, like, on an energetic exchange level, like, so tell your stories, because I think spirit wants you to tell your stories. Don't be quiet. Tell your story.
No, and you know, I had to think about it. I've been thinking about this a lot, about like, okay, well, you share a lot, because I share a lot of my personal stuff. I do it when I'm doing readings and things like that. And it was like thinking, because I'm observing myself. I'm like, Teresa, you talk about yourself a lot. And like, what are you, like, why? And it's like, no, it's not me, like, I'm talking about myself. It's my story. Somebody needs to hear my story.
Yes.
Somebody needs to hear, and you know, especially like with the abusive relationship, there was a lot of shame after that relationship. And I was embarrassed that I was in that. And what I realized when I started to kind of tell people that I knew, that didn't know what was going on, that had happened to me, they were shocked. And I was like, oh, I need to share this story, because people don't realize how insidious abusers are, and how easy it can be for someone to get into, even someone you think is a strong person that would never let nobody do nothing to them. Like, it's important. There's a reason. So my story, like, I tweeted some shit last night because I'm going through it. I'm realizing I got some shit to work on, right? But I put it out there, and I'm just having a vulnerable moment. And really what it is, it's like, you're not alone. People were like, me too. Because somebody just needs to be like, oh shit, you know what? It isn't just me. I am sick of my shit too. That's what I wrote in the tweet. I'm sick of my own shit.
When you feel alone, that makes everything so much. Oh my goodness,
it makes it so much harder. Yeah, but just to know that you feel seen, like, because that's really what it is feeling seen and understood. And that is part of why I'm here. I want people to feel seen, heard, loved, and understood. I didn't have a lot of that from some of my family, you know, growing up. And so that is something that I am like doing. Like, I want to make sure, like, but part of the way I do that is I share. And I tell my story and I share my experiences, because my hope is like somebody can learn from my experience. Either they're identifying with it in some way and being like, oh, I've been through something like that, or da 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 da. Or maybe it's like, hey, I don't want to go through that. How can I make these changes? Like the girl I read for last night, she was young. And I was like, 22-year-old me would not have been ready to hear the shit that I'm saying to you.
Okay.
The fact that you are open to the messages I'm giving you is crazy.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the game. I said, but you can't avoid the experience. You still need to you don't have enough experience yet. I'm almost 40, y'all. Okay.
She's not looking. I know that's right.
I'm almost 40. I've been through some shit. I'm a completely different person, but thank you. Yes.
Comment down below if y'all gasped. Comment down below. I'll be like, which what? Because I was like, when she told me that, about a week ago, I said,
and he was like, what do you mean?
Like,
I was like, yes. I'll be 39 next month, baby. I'm on the way. And I love it because I have lived through experiences. And so I have a lot to draw from. I have a lot to share, but I also know that I've survived all these things. You know, so it's like, I tell the young one, like, just keep going. It gets better. But you have to keep showing up. You have to keep moving.
It gets sweeter. It gets sweeter.
It does. It doesn't get easy. So this is, and I talk about this a lot now, ease versus easy. Life don't get easier. Okay. But when you are in your truth, when you are authentic, when you are in integrity, when you are connected to yourself and spirit and all of that, there is a level of ease in life. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to fight all the time. And if you come from a challenging childhood and challenging times, like we feel like if I'm not fighting, I'm not doing it right. And it's like, no, baby, I don't need to fight. I just need to align. Doesn't mean I'm not stressed. It doesn't mean I'm not pressed sometimes. It doesn't mean that I don't have my moments of worry and things like that. But there's a level of ease that comes with it because I'm getting it's matching my vibration. Period.
And this has been, y'all, this has been for me, bitch. I know y'all like on the other side of the screen, like, damn, I feel good because I feel amazing. And I didn't expect to. There were so many gems here, but now we get to the juice, okay? Because I want Teresa, I want the soul elephant. I want you to do your thing.
Do my thing? All right.
Do your thing.
Do your thing, girl. Do your thing.
Do your thing. And once again, y'all should follow her. I mean, after this, if y'all didn't follow her, y'all don't want no help, okay?
Don't sleep on you, girl.
Okay.
Don't sleep on you, girl. For me, a little Florida water. Tap into the energies. Okay. Here we go. All right.
It was a smirk for me.
Listen, I may be quiet, but my face ain't ever. Ever. All right, I pulled 4 cards so far. We got Mirror in the reverse. Priestess. No. And Leap in the reverse. All right, let's talk about it. So the Mirror card, it says on it, I love some of these cards have questions, which I love, great for journaling, right? So it says, who or what is triggering you? And it's in the reverse, right? So what have we been talking about? You have to pay attention to yourself. You have to yourself, right? So some of y'all ain't looking at yourself in the mirror. Because here's the thing about a trigger, right? When you are triggered, a trigger, just like everything else we experience, is information, right? When you feel triggered, it's not, don't get caught up in like, well, why am I, it's like, all right, well, why am I triggered? What is triggering me here? You know, why do I feel that way? Because the trigger is an invitation to the work. The trigger is saying, oh, that's something you still need to work on. That's something that's still there that you need to examine, right? And so some of y'all are putting the blame, like this is that accountability. Okay, because you're not looking at yourself. If you're constantly like, they did this to me, like even with my abusive ex, it is not my fault what he did to me. I did not deserve those things, but I'm going to take responsibility for why that happened. In the sense of, what did I do energetically to allow this? What was I calling in for myself? Really, you know, a lot of it was about self-love and my lack thereof, right? And my relationship with self. It doesn't absolve him or condone any of the things that he's done, but it's my job to take responsibility for what I did to myself, which has allowed someone to treat me that way for as long as they did, right? And so you can't heal it if you're not paying attention. You can't heal through it if you don't know, if you don't even know what it is. You know, you can't heal if you don't feel it. So this is, in the reverse, this is avoidance. Some of y'all are avoiding the work. I know Spirit be talking to me too sometimes, because I'm part of the collective and Spirit loves to remind me.
Same.
Why do you have to drag me in front of my friends?
Like, damn.
You have to do that, right? And so then we have the priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? Okay. This is about stepping up into yourself, right? Where have you backed off? And I said this in a live recently. It's there's a Kendrick Lamar quote. I want the credit if I'm losing or I'm winning. That's a leader, right? So it's about that personal responsibility, right? Because leadership is hard because you're responsible for everything. So some of us don't want that. So some of y'all are on cruise control. Some of y'all are just letting it happen instead of taking a little bit of ownership, right? A leader takes ownership of their experience. A leader takes ownership of what's happening and takes responsibility. A leader knows how to delegate. This isn't about like, I could be bad by myself. This is like, a leader knows like, hey, these are the people that I could call upon. They're like the people that I can uplift and give strength. So there's this level of, it's time to step up into who you are, but you can't do that if you're not looking at yourself in the mirror, right? Because you don't want to be a leader that's like, doesn't know anything about themselves. So if you look at the card, it's like her arms look like she's in like the superhero pose. Own your power. Own your power. Own your power. So now this is interesting because we have the no card and then we have the leap in the reverse. Okay. Now, okay, so in order for you to take this leap of faith, you have to have some clarity and you need to get clear on who you are, what you're doing, what you want, your connection. So if you are not doing this kind of work, this leap is something that you need to wait on. I think that's what's really coming through. It's like, and it's not no forever. It's just, you need to take a moment to do, you don't want to, yes, when you take leaps of faith, there's going to be a level of, there's a lot of faith that has to happen, a lot of trust, right? I'm just going to trust that I'm ready. But you have to do the work to get yourself ready. Because if you take the leap and you're not right, like within, what you think gonna happen? Okay. Right? Because you're just gonna bring old shit into the new space.
And you don't want to do that, baby.
Okay. You don't want to bring those old patterns into the new relationship, into the new job, into the new apartment, into the new city, into the new phase of your life, whatever. It's really, so really what's happening is like, it's take a moment before you do this to really get right with yourself. Where have you not been getting right with yourself? Where have you not been doing the work? And honoring yourself. Yes, because that when I say show up, it's not just like, hey, I'm on camera. It's having the hard conversations, having the hard moments with yourself, feeling your fucking feelings, allowing yourself to feel how you feel, honoring that. That's how you show up for yourself. Saying no when it's no. Don't just go places to go places. We are constantly forcing ourselves to do things that don't feel good. Okay, so don't do that anymore. Start saying no more. That's the other thing. Start saying no to things that don't align. If it don't align, we don't got time. Okay,
that's the word. If it don't align, we do not have time.
And the best way is to say no. Now, the other thing too, it's like with this leap in reverse, some of y'all don't even know what you want. Okay, I need clarity. So when you don't know what you want, do you know what you don't want? Sometimes contrast is important. It's just as important to know what I don't want as it's important for me to know what I want. And when you're not sure what you want, it's like, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. Well, do you want Thai food? No. Okay, I know that I don't want that. Do you know what you want? Nope, but I know I don't want that. Like, figure out what you don't want. Figure out what's a no, right? You have to understand that about yourself. And that's why you need to look at yourself in the mirror, right? Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming the trauma. Stop blaming, like, get out of that. Stop identifying with it.
Stop identifying with it.
Love to identify with the trauma. And the thing about it is, so like,
address it and let it go. Okay.
It's a bridge, right? So like, for example, like, victims of sexual assault survivors, I am one of them, right? Identifying with it is, I mean, sadly, it's so common. Identifying with that group, it's a bridge, right? I want to identify, I find the people that also had this experience, but a lot of people park on that bridge and they're like, I am a survivor. And I'm like, listen, you know what it means to be a survivor? It means that I kept walking. And yes, that is part of my experience, but that's not who I am. Has it shaped certain things? Sure, but it's not who I am. And so when you stop identifying with your trauma, you can move forward. Right. And then you have to dig deep. Well, why, is this still triggering for me? Why is this still triggering? What do I need to work on here? But stop expecting other people to do the work and you're not doing the work yourself.
Okay.
We all out here wanting everybody else to do the work and we're not doing it.
I don't know if it get any more loud and clear. We had the conversation. Then she pulled the cards to just show y'all, like,
and this leap, like, again, like in the reverse too, could also be a lack of trust. You might not trust yourself. You might not trust spirit. You might not trust that it's going to work out. And you have to, in order to do it, it's stepping in on faith. It's taking the step. And I don't see the ground, but I'm going to trust that by the time my foot touches, it's going to be solid.
Trust. A lot of our trust, especially over these past 2 years, has been tampered with. I've talked to some of the dolls. Faith is very important.
It's so important.
Very important.
And when you are doing the work with self, when you are looking in the mirror, when you are showing up, when you learn to trust yourself, right? And I know that so many people have had experiences where they feel like they didn't trust themselves. And so I think those are the best examples of how to trust yourself, because you fucking know, if you would have just trusted yourself, you wouldn't have been in that situation. You fucking knew that was dumb. Then you did it. And then you're like, shit, I knew that was dumb. That doesn't mean I can't trust myself. That doesn't mean I'm not trustworthy. It just means that I haven't trusted myself. This is trusting yourself is a way to honor yourself. Trusting spirit. How are you saying you honor spirit, but you don't trust?
You don't trust. You don't have no faith. You don't have no faith.
Why is God has always had your back? Why will she stop now?
You went through something. You was all right afterwards, huh? Oh, okay.
So really, it's, this feels like part of calling in your power is saying no to the things that you don't want and doing the work. That's how you step into this priestess. Because the thing about the priestess is doing the hard work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You have to do the work. You have to do the work behind the scenes. You have to do the work within. Everything starts in here. You want something to change out here, you have to start here. Everything.
Yes. Everything. And that's even on a grander scale in the world. You got to start addressing. You got to start addressing self. It's the only place to start. You cannot solve outside. You can't solve outside. Everybody has to do their own work, right? And if you have done any work at all on yourself, you should be able to notice what has changed outside of you because of the work, right? Yes. I like to say that one of my best telling things about where I am with my work is my relationships. So I look at the people that are in my life, the way that I am loved, the way that people show up for me is different than what I had when I was younger and I was very much in my pain and my trauma and my anger and all my shit.
And I'm like, oh, because I'm finally starting to really honor myself. And so I'm calling in these people that are on my level. So if you look around and you don't like the people that you're around, baby, you better change yourself.
You gotta look at yourself. You gotta look at yourself. I just told y'all, I was dealing, there was a point where I was dealing with a lot of emotionally unavailable people. And I was like, well, bitch, I am a sweetheart. So, okay. I said, I'm a sweetheart. So how is this happening? Because this is too many. And then I looked in the mirror and I said, bitch, even with you being so sweet, you are emotionally unavailable also. And you use that sweetness to hide the fact that you are emotionally unavailable. And I said, and the minute that changed, the minute I recognized that, people started falling out of my life. And so on and so on. And it's just been like seeing a full 360, because this is like within like the last year span or year or two span, seeing a full 360. I addressed that with myself, and here I am.
But that's the thing. And once you have the awareness, that's the key. Once you understand and you know, then like you can't unknow it. You can't go back, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, and that will happen when you start aligning with yourself. People and things that don't align, it's not that we don't have time. It's gonna go. Spirits won't get rid of it because it no longer matches you. And it's okay to grieve that. That is okay. Very clear. It is okay to grieve the loss of people that suck or that are hurting you, because really what you're grieving is this idea that you had of what that relationship was going to continue to be. It's okay to grieve those losses, but stay firm in your power.
And don't, one thing I've learned to stop doing is blaming the other person. What are we talking about? Stop blaming that other person.
Blaming other people.
You have to realize that they also are not looking at themselves. They hurt people. Number one.
And everybody's coming at you from their highest point of consciousness. They are doing the best they can with what they have. It might not be good enough, but it's what they can do. And this is especially important with anybody who has challenging relationships with family, parents, right? When you can look at your parents and understand that they're humans, they're not above anything. They're having a human experience. They probably don't have the same tools that you have. They might not have the same self-awareness that you have. They might not have been doing the healing work. They might not have been showing up for themselves.
Baby, I used to blame my parents for so much. I mean, my parents were a fool, no shade, because they didn't even show up. I didn't get a picture with my parents for graduation, girl. But that's besides the point. I stopped blaming them by the time I was like 22, because I said, you know what? Baby, my father experienced the tail end of segregation in America. I could only imagine.
That's right.
If I'm dealing with this bullshit today, I could only imagine.
Listen, my grandfather is a Black man who was born and raised in Lynchburg, Virginia.
All you had to say was Lynch.
Okay. Lynchburg, Virginia. That's the name. That's the name of a place in Virginia. Okay. Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm like, damn. Like, that's nuts. Like, that's not far removed. Like, he's 90, but he's still with us. He's 95. And he'll talk about, he's like, the worst thing in this world is racism. And he talks about how, because he's very light skinned. He's Cherokee and Black. And he's high yellow, as they would say. And he was like, the way they would pit him against the darker skinned people. And how insidious it is. And like, this is still something that we're dealing with. And it's like, it's just, but you have to understand, like, and like, my grandpa's not perfect. He has a lot of, but you know, he is who he is. And he did not have the tools or the supports to do the work. You know, my mom, she don't have the tools and the supports to do the work.
They wasn't taught that shit. We wasn't taught this shit growing up. We was
Hello. I don't like this. I don't want to do it like you.
Yeah.
I don't like the way you make me feel, so I don't want to make other people feel that way. That's where I'm at.
Very much that.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
This has been one of the most beautiful conversations that I've had in a while with anybody, first and foremost. I am so happy that you agreed to even participate in this. It means the world to me. And I know it means the world to, it's going to be a few people that watch, but even if it only resonates, which I know is going to resonate with way more than, 50 people, it's going to do so much. Because what you just did was, I'm not at that point in my journey. I'm not able to put a lot of things in words a lot of the times. And the way it just flows. The way you let it flow out of you. It's inspiring. It truly is. Because you working from the heart. What we've been talking about, So thank you so much. Y'all can follow Teresa at Soul Elephant on Instagram and Twitter, girl. And I don't know if you even want me to mention this or whatever. If y'all want, I don't even know if they want to book a reading with you or whatever. Tell them where they could find all that information and stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you on my Instagram, and I think I have it posted on my Twitter too, email soulelephantreadings@gmail.com, and that's soul like the sun, SOL. Yes, so that's how you can, if you're interested in a reading. I do these intuitive readings. I also do theta healing, which is an energy healing modality to dig into the subconscious that we were talking about earlier. If you want more information about what that means, hit me up. I'm happy to share. I look forward to connecting with some of your dolls, because I am so listen, Spirit was in both of our ears talking about when are y'all gonna link, and this is why. See? Because it's a very beautiful and powerful conversation. I'm just so blessed and honored to be here with you and and just to get to know you more and talk to you. Like, this is great. This is so fun. I love this.
I got a friend for life now, y'all, because Teresa is really my girl. Y'all have no idea.
Let's in real life. Okay. In real life. Off the brand.